The journey to my first $10,000. When the kid from the village met the open ocean. Part 1. The $1,000 hangover and the fallacy of the freelancer factory. After hitting my first $1,000, I wasn't just walking, I was gliding. At 16, I felt like a titan of industry, a self-proclaimed boy wonder of the digital age. I upgraded my setup from a rickety old chair to a proper ergonomic throne and bought a mechanical keyboard that announced every keystroke with a satisfying, authoritative clack. My new favorite phrase became, "It's a business expense." With this newfound arrogance, I set my sights on the next mythical peak, $10,000. The number itself sounded like a password to an exclusive club. My grand strategy, born from pure, unadulterated naivety, was simple. Do exactly what I did before, but multiply it by 10. I transformed myself into a one-man freelancer factory. My life became a blur of bidding on projects across every platform imaginable. Upwork, Fiverr, you name it. I was a digital mercenary, taking any job, no matter how small or soul-crushing. A logo for $20. Done. A 500-word blog post for a dog grooming service for $5. I'm on it. A complete website for a local bakery for $50. An absolute steal. I was proud of my packed schedule, wearing my exhaustion like a badge of honor. I was the embodiment of the hustle culture I'd read so much about. But I wasn't hustling. I was just running in place. I was trapping myself in the low-value, high-volume quicksand. By competing on price, I was attracting clients who wanted the world for the price of a cup of coffee. The quality of my work began to suffer. I was a jack of all trades, but a master of absolutely none. The first real crack in my glorious facade came from a client who ran a small, elegant wedding photography studio. I had won his SEO and social media management package for an embarrassingly low $100 a month, promising him the moon with terms I had only just Googled myself. During our first video call, the client, a sharp man named Mr. Harrison, leaned into his camera and asked, "So, Jack, let's talk specifics. What's your backlinking strategy? Are you planning to use a PBN or focus on guest posting on high-authority blogs? Can you tell me the target DR and UR scores of the sites you'll be acquiring links from?" I froze. A cold sweat prickled my neck. DR, UR, PBN? These acronyms were like a foreign language. I had been ready to talk about making engaging posts. He was talking about building a digital empire. I stammered, yes, well, my strategy is to use the most effective methods to achieve optimal results. He wasn't fooled. He smiled a thin, pitying smile and proceeded to systematically dismantle my entire proposal, exposing my lack of depth with surgical precision. The call ended with a canceled contract, a refunded deposit, and a searing one-star review on my public profile. It read, "Utterly unprofessional. Has a surface-level understanding, but zero practical knowledge. A waste of time and money. Avoid." That review wasn't just a bad mark. It was a public shaming. It burned hotter than any failure I had experienced before. It was the moment I realized that being busy and being productive were two completely different things. Part 2. Rock bottom and the hermit mode metamorphosis. That one-star review triggered a domino effect. My confidence shattered. I started making more mistakes. My room, once my proud command center, became a den of despair, littered with instant noodle cups and energy drink cans. The glow of the monitor at 3 a.m. was no longer a symbol of my ambition, but a testament to my exhaustion. The breaking point came one rainy night. I was staring at a half-finished logo for a new client, and I felt nothing. No excitement, no creative spark, just a profound, bone-deep weariness. I had around $2,000 in my account, but I felt poorer than when I had started. I was burning out, and fast. In a moment of desperate clarity, I decided to do something radical. I initiated a controlled demolition of my freelance career. I contacted my remaining lowball clients and canceled the contracts, politely explaining I was shifting my business focus. I absorbed the lost deposits and the inevitable angry replies. I deactivated my accounts on the freelance bidding sites. I performed a digital cleanse of my own profile, deleting every post that bragged about my cheap, low-quality projects. It was a digital bonfire of my own mediocrity. For the next 2 months, I earned nothing. Instead, I invested. I took the money I had saved and poured it into high-quality, professional courses. Not just free YouTube tutorials, but structured programs in UI/UX design, advanced digital marketing, and business proposal writing. I did the homework. I participated in live workshops. I sought out a mentor, an experienced designer who agreed to review my work once a week. I was rebuilding myself from the ground up. I learned the most painful, yet valuable lesson of my journey so far. To earn more, I first had to. Part 3. The Comeback Kid and Fishing for a Whale. 2 months later, I emerged from my hermit mode, a different person. I was no longer a hunter, frantically chasing after any small job. I was now a fisherman, patiently preparing my bait to attract a much bigger catch. My bait was a meticulously crafted portfolio. It featured only 3 projects. One was a deep case study of my work with the bakery, the first client. The second was a detailed breakdown of the website I built for Dave. The third, my new centerpiece, was a full-fledged website and branding package I did pro bono for a local animal shelter. This nonprofit project demonstrated not just my skills, but also my passion and commitment to quality. And then I saw it, a post on an international tech forum. A Singapore-based edtech startup called EduSphere was looking for a full digital brand overhaul and web platform redesign. This was it, the whale. I didn't just send a price quote. I spent an entire week in a deep dive. I researched EduSphere, their mission, their competitors, the edtech market in Southeast Asia. I prepared a 15-page proposal that included a competitive analysis, a detailed roadmap, and my secret weapon, a high-fidelity mock-up of a proposed new homepage. Then came the moment of truth, the price. My hands trembled over the keyboard. 500, that was the old me. 500, that was the old me. 5,000, that felt arrogant. I took a deep breath, reminding myself of the value I was offering, and typed the number, $3,000. I hit send, and immediately felt a wave of nausea. I avoided my inbox for a full 24 hours. When I finally dared to look, a reply was waiting. The subject line, your impressive proposal for EduSphere. My heart hammered against my ribs. The email from their CEO read, Dear Jack, your proposal is by far the most thoughtful and detailed we have received. We are very impressed. Are you available for a call tomorrow to discuss this further? I had done it. I had proven that when you clearly demonstrate overwhelming value, price becomes a secondary conversation. Part 4. The Great White Whale Bites Back. The Scope Creep Nightmare. The project with EduSphere was a go. The initial high was incredible, but it soon gave way to the crushing weight of reality. This wasn't just a website. It was a complex platform, and I wasn't over my head. The true monster, however, wasn't the technical complexity. It was a silent, insidious beast called scope creep. It began with innocent emails from the CEO, Mr. Chun. Hey Jack, while you're at it, could you just quickly design a new business card for me? Just a small thought. Can we add a partners page to the site? Shouldn't take long. My wife feels the shade of blue is a bit gloomy. Can you explore some brighter alternatives? Each quick thing and small thought was a deviation that cost me hours, sometimes days. As a young freelancer desperate to please my first major client, I didn't have the courage to say no, or that will be an additional charge. I just said yes and added it to my ever-growing to-do list. The crisis peaked during the payment gateway integration. It was a labyrinth of APIs, webhooks, and sandbox environments. I spent 3 sleepless nights staring at lines of code, unable to fix a persistent bug that caused test transactions to fail. Mr. Chin's emails became more frequent, his tone shifting from encouraging to concerned. The project was falling behind schedule, and it was entirely my fault. I was at the edge of a cliff, about to lose the biggest opportunity in my life. In my darkest hour of panic, one name came to mind. Min, my classmate, the quiet, unassuming coding prodigy who saw the world in algorithms and logic. Swallowing every ounce of my pride, I went to him. I laid everything bare. The project, my tangled code, my utter desperation. "Min," I said, my voice cracking. "I can't do this alone. I'm drowning. The project is for $3,000. If you help me, we split it, 50 to 50. Min peered at my screen, his expression unreadable. He was silent for what felt like an eternity. Then he looked at me and said, with no hint of malice, only genuine curiosity, "You actually got this code to run? It's a miracle of chaos. Okay, move over. Let me see." That brutally honest statement was the most beautiful sound I'd ever heard. Part 5. The Forge of Partnership. The War of Logic versus Emotion. Working with Min was like bringing a master architect into a house I had built with duct tape and hope. In 2 days, he had untangled my back-end mess and flawlessly integrated the payment system. I was free to focus on what I did best, refining the user interface, perfecting the user experience, and managing client communication. But our collaboration wasn't seamless. It was a constant, fiery clash I privately dubbed the War of Logic versus Emotion. I designed a beautiful, fluid page loading animation. Min immediately shot it down. "This is bloatware," he declared. "It adds 0.5 seconds to the load time. Users want speed, not a ballet performance." I argued back, "But it's about the feel. It communicates a premium brand identity." We debated for an hour before reaching a compromise. We would keep a simplified version of the animation, but only if Min could optimize it to have near zero impact on performance. He wanted to launch new features in a raw beta state to gather user data. I was horrified. "We can't show the client something that isn't polished. It ruins our professional image." He countered, "It's more unprofessional to build something for 3 months that nobody wants to use." Through these heated debates, we forged a powerful synergy. I learned to appreciate the elegant brutality of efficiency from Min. He, in turn, began to understand that human users were not machines, and that sometimes a well-placed, aesthetically pleasing button could be as important as a perfectly optimized database query. We weren't just a designer and a coder. We were the left and right brain of a single, functioning entity. Part 6. The Summit, the Payday, and the New Problem. EDU Sphere was a resounding success. The client was ecstatic. They paid the full amount, added a $500 bonus for outstanding performance, and immediately put us on a monthly retainer. More importantly, Mr. Chen became our biggest advocate, referring us to 2 other major clients. The money started flowing in. One evening, after completing our 3rd major project as a team, I checked our joint account. The balance read over $10,000. I called Min. There was no shouting this time, just a shared silence on the phone, followed by a slow, knowing laugh. It was the laugh of shared struggle and mutual respect. But with this new success came a new problem. What to do with the money? My first instinct was to splurge. A top-of-the-line MacBook Pro was calling my name. Min, ever the pragmatist, wanted to reinvest every penny, upgrade our servers, buy enterprise-level software licenses, maybe even rent a small co-working space. It led to our next big debate. But this time, we approached it like partners. We created our first ever business budget. We agreed to pay ourselves a fixed monthly salary. I got my MacBook Pro. The rest, a full 80% of our earnings, was designated as the growth fund to be reinvested back into our budding enterprise. We were learning that making money is a skill, but managing money is a discipline. Part 7. Reflections from the Summit and the View Ahead. The road from $1,000 to $10,000 was paved with near disasters, sleepless nights, and humbling lessons. That journey taught me more than any school ever could. Sell value, not hours. Stop competing on price. Elevate your skills to solve bigger, more expensive problems, and you can command a premium. The power of no. Saying no to bad projects, bad clients, and scope creep is one of the most powerful tools for growth. Your time is your most valuable asset. Invest in yourself relentlessly. Your knowledge and skills are the only assets that no one can ever take from you. You can't be a superhero. Find people who are smarter than you in areas where you are weak. True growth happens through collaboration, not solo heroism. Financial discipline is freedom. Learning to manage your earnings is what turns a freelance gig into a sustainable business. That $10,000 wasn't an endpoint. It was the beginning. It was the seed capital for our future. The question was no longer, how can I earn more? It was, what can we build together? An agency? A product of our own? The path to $100,000 looked different, filled with questions of scale, hiring, and strategy. If you're reading this, perhaps on your own journey, remember this. You will stumble. You will feel inadequate. You will face problems that seem insurmountable. Remember that even the self-proclaimed boy wonder had to swallow his pride and beg a classmate for help. Failure is not the final word. How you rise from it is what defines your story. Keep walking, keep learning, and don't be afraid to ask for help. The open ocean is vast, but it's far less intimidating when you have a co-captain on board.